Here we go. So welcome to Referral Success 101, Networking Like a Pro. And before I get into all the delicious content, I just wanted to see if we can all meet each other and see where you are in your business and what you're looking to get out of today. So, and then I also want to give you something to think about during our presentation. I want to come back around at the end. So what you want to think about is what's one word that best describes you, your best business characteristic, what you bring to your business. So think about that. I'll let you have time to think about it. And then for intros, I would love to just share with everybody your name and what you do and what you're looking to get out of today. Any volunteers who'd like to go first? All right, Yvonne, quick with a hand.
I'll go. My name is Yvonne McCool. I'm with Cobra Allies, and I'm looking to actually just learn what I don't know.
Okay, I like it. All right, so Edna, let's have you go next, and then Carly, you'll go after Edna.
So my name is Edna Castillo, and I am a transformational life coach. And I would like to get out of how to do it more fluently. And I think I know how to do it, but Yvonne brings a great point. I don't know what I don't know, so I'm here to learn.
Okay, more fluidly. I like that. All right, Carly, and then Nathaniel.
So my name is Carly Powell. I'm with Mutual of Omaha Reverse Mortgage, and I have been doing a lot of networking and a lot of events, but I get really nervous and uncomfortable, and I kind of would like help figuring out maybe a 1 or 2 minute introduction, and yeah, that's it.
Okay, awesome. All right, Nathaniel, and then Dr. Bonnie.
All right, so I'm Nathaniel. I am with USI. We're in a commercial insurance brokerage. I work out here in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm focused on life science companies and nonprofits in the area. For me specifically, what I'm focused on is with both of those, it's not cold call based. It really does come a lot from referrals. So it's structuring those conversations with not necessarily the companies, but the partners, and how to guide those conversations and give them my elevator pitch in a way that really helps them understand what services and value I'm adding to their clients.
Okay. I'm just taking some notes. Okay. All right, Dr. Bonnie.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. I'm a holistic practitioner. I'm a healer, and I teach others how to do all the things that I do. And because of what I do, it's very much referral based. So I can put as many ads out on the internet as I want, and it won't get any traction because I really need the word of mouth. And so what I'm hoping to get from this is easy, flawless, effortless ways to get my existing clients to want to share me with all their friends and family without being icky, salesy, that kind of thing.
Right. Okay. Okay. Anything anyone else thought of while everybody was sharing? If you wanted to add anything, you're welcome to do that.
Yeah, that icky salesy thing.
Oh, Edna, I don't know why I can't hear you.
Oh,
there you are. Okay.
The icky salesy thing just touched a chord with me too.
Okay. Yes. No one wants to be icky or salesy. Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, so I am going to share my screen and get rolling. And I'm going to share. Okay, originally this workshop was 2.5 hours. And I know we all are conscious about time plus sitting on Zoom, right? So I squished it into 90 minutes. And even though I've got a lot to share with you, I want it to be relevant to you. So if I come up with anything, please pipe in and ask any questions at the moment. I'm totally cool with that because I want you to get what you need from today. And of course, there's more than this. If you're interested, we can talk about that. And I want you to walk away with things that you can actually do in your business right away. Okay. So if you need me to explain anything differently, say it a different way, or just have a question about how it fits for your business, we can definitely talk about that. All right. So let me get my screen share up. All right. So everyone see me and the PowerPoint? Okay. So welcome to Referral Success, Networking Like a Pro. And just a little bit about my background. So Carly, good news. I am not a natural networker. Growing up, I was super shy and introverted. And when I was a kid, we actually moved from Hawaii to California. And I'll always remember having to walk into that new school in that new classroom with new people and being so shy and self-conscious and nervous, all those butterflies and knots in my stomach, feeling alone and like a total outsider. And I will say the kids in California, not quite as warm as the kids in Hawaii. So having that experience and all of that, I've always also been driven. So my drive oftentimes pushes me outside my comfort zone. And one of the big ways that I grew out of my shyness was by joining groups and teams. And when I was in college, I was in a performing arts group. I got really involved in competitive dance. And I was in a performing arts group and we toured all over the US, Canada, even did a European tour one year. And I performed in front of stadiums of people, like tens and thousands of people, shy little me. But what I learned is that when I teamed up with other people who had similar goals and similar, values and work ethic and all of that, people I could connect with, it allowed me to go further than I ever imagined on my own. So after college, I went right into sales. My first career was real estate. I was a realtor for 20 years before starting this coaching business 11 years ago. What do they do in sales? You have to go talk to people. And this was in the 90s. And I learned door knocking and cold calling before all the do not call and all of that. And all of that is great. Excellent training. And some of it feels a little icky, right? And uncomfortable. More growth opportunity. And then, they always tell you in sales, tell all your friends and family that you're in this business. And so I'm calling all my friends who are either still in college or just out of college and saying, hey, you want to buy or sell a house? And they pretty much laughed at me. They're like, that's hilarious. And so someone told me, you should go network, right? Because I needed to build a sphere of my own. So I walked into a very crowded, very busy Walnut Creek Chamber of Commerce mixer. And for the first moment, I had those butterflies and I'm like, wait, I thought I grew out of my shyness. Nope, she's still in me. And then I just started meeting people and people I would connect with and different things. And I just had this aha, like this epiphany. I'm like, I can grow my business team just like I had my dance team and my debate team and all the team activities I did. I can I can team up with other businesses who have complementary services, and we can refer each other, and just great business people where we can support each other and look out for opportunities for each other and open doors for each other, and bounce ideas off of each other, because being in business for ourselves oftentimes can be isolating and alone. And so having those people, by my side, was a great way, I thought, to do business. So that's how I grew my real estate business, was by, I got into networking. I founded my BNI chapter, and I've done a lot of things like that. And people started asking me to talk at their groups and help them with what I was doing. So the referral systems I teach today are what took me to the top 5% of realtors here in the San Francisco Bay Area. So this today is going to give you some of the foundational things, and of course there's more comprehensive strategy and actually a marketing plan that you can set up for your business. But this will give you a starting point, and I'm giving you some of the juicy stuff right away, because that's how I want. I want people to tell me the juicy stuff right away. So we all got into when we get into business, we all need to generate new business. And there's actually only a handful of ways to generate new business. Now, sometimes it looks different and there's different applications to these processes, but we've got cold calling, door knocking, and did everyone experience the new way of cold calling or door knocking through LinkedIn? Like, knock, knock, knock on your LinkedIn door. Let's connect so I can sell you my stuff, right? We all experience that. So there's just new ways of doing it. There's advertising. We've got traditional print advertising, television advertising, radio advertising, but of course now we've got Facebook ads and all those kinds of things, online advertising and SEO. And of course, we've got direct prospecting and referrals. I think all of these are important, and I think it's good to do a variety of things. And for me, I wanted to focus on referrals as my main number one, my number one source. And so that's what I've done in my businesses. And these other things are important in business to know about and find what works for you in your business. I absolutely believe there is a wave of opportunity for referral business, because there's so much information. If you're scrolling through Instagram, and Facebook and all those places, LinkedIn, there's so many people offering so many services, and there's so much choice and information out there. And people want to know who people who they know and trust, what they think, and who they recommend. And I think the referrals are actually even more relevant in today's business world, because people need that to help with that choice and direction, because there's too many options. There's too many things out there. So they want that support and that help. So we all know that referrals are awesome, right? People trust recommendations from people who they trust. So even if you're B2C, business to consumer, or B2B, business to business, people are influenced by WOM, word of mouth, and all those recommendations and what other people they trust like. So in a perfect world, we would only have work with our ideal clients, those best clients that just make us feel amazing. We'd have a steady stream of business. We would have fewer sales appointments because we close more. We'd have that higher conversion. We'd have this thriving business. Like we, I don't know about you, but when I dreamed of being a business owner and being in charge of my own destiny and creating the business and the life that I wanted, and have all the time to do whatever I wanted to do, right? We want to lead that significant life, and of course, be able to give back to our community. And then reality sets in, right? It's like most people do start out with referrals, right? They do have a core friend, family base, business relationships, and they can go to them and say, hey, I'm doing this business. And they do get some clients right off the bat from referral. That's how most businesses start. And then we also know we need to do some marketing and advertising. So we start that and we get some clients. And then we get busy serving the client, which is our love, right? We got into business to help people and to serve and to share our expertise. So we focus on the client, and then we finish with those clients and we're like, uh-oh, right? Or maybe even bad word. No, I need more clients. And so then we start the activity over again. And then that's why so many business owners and business sales professionals have that up and down cycle of cash flow or revenue, because they stop and start with the marketing. So having a marketing program that's easy and enjoyable to implement, I think referral marketing is so enjoyable because it's really about being able to help other people as a way of growing your business. And that it always feels good to give and help and support. So before we get that ideal client to sign on the dotted line over and over again, I believe we can become a master at networking and referrals. I call it a certified networker. So in the referral marketplace, when we look at what people usually know or are trained on when it comes to referrals, is they focus on client referrals. And, I'm B2B now. So B2B is one way, but I've also been B2C when I was in real estate. And a lot of people focus on that client referral. Client referrals are awesome and they're great. But what I found is they're sporadic and you have to work really hard to get those client referrals. I mean, we all have that one client who's just, knows everybody and is a great promoter and does all the things, but it's challenging to get everyone to do that. Part of the problem is if they work a job, right, they see the same pocket of people in their cubicle or the same team in their workplace day in and day out, and then they go home and then see the same handful of people there and then go back and forth, and they're not coming in contact with a lot of people to refer, except for those that are just super social and all of that. So sometimes they have a limited supply and they don't even know how important referrals is to us, right? Because if they're working a job, they get this thing called like a paycheck, right? I mean, I don't know. I haven't had like a paycheck since my college jobs, right? And so they get this paycheck and they get business, they get work, they just show up and they have work and then they get that pay. And so they don't see the same thing as other business owners see in how important those referrals are to our life, to our to supporting our living. So the other thing about networking is most people confuse networking and prospecting. So if you think of the mindset of someone who's going to a networking event, they're going to the chamber mixer, they're going somewhere, what is the mindset? Why do we go? Because we want business, right? So we're thinking, oh, I want to go get business. So I'm going to go to this networking event and they're all going to want to buy life insurance from me. It's going to be amazing, right? And then we get there and it's not like that. And that's why we get those icky interactions when people are trying to sell to us. So most people are going to a networking event to sell, but have you ever gone to a networking event to buy anything? Like, oh, I need to find someone to buy my life insurance from. Not to pick on life insurance people, but so are we, how do we actually make this networking thing work? Okay. And so, everyone knows they should network, right? We're all told that, but what the heck does that mean and how do we make it work? So here are my 3 steps to a full pipeline. So number 1, we want to have a clear message. Number 2, we want to build a referral team. And then number 3, we want to activate your network. What I mean by that is to get your network working on your behalf, right? Activate that network. So the first thing we want is a clear message that differentiates you, especially if you're in real estate or a highly competitive field, insurance, things like that. And when we have that distinction of what separates us from the competition and makes us unique, and we have it in a way that's easily repeatable and is clear, then our referral team can capture that and repeat it, right? So we want a clear message that's easily repeatable. Have you ever met that person and it's like, what do you do? And like, they take like 10 minutes to describe what they do and it's totally unclear. You're like, I still don't understand. That would be not what you want to do. Right. Right. So having that clear message so people get it. And then, Simon Sinek, he has this book, Start With Why, and he talks about this. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. So one of the things that I work with my clients on is what we call an emotionally charged connection. So what's that emotional connection we have to our passion, why we love doing what we do, why we are uniquely designed to serve our ideal clients? What's that connection? Emotional. If you've done any training on sales and marketing, people buy on emotion, and emotion is the strongest connection we can have. And when we figure out that emotionally charged connection, it gives us a great message. It also ignites our passion. And I believe passion is one of the most referable things. When someone's passionate, we assume a lot about them, right? When you meet someone, like I meet a lot of people, and I know I was talking to someone who's trying to get into one of my networking groups, and I'm like, oh, so how'd you get into this business? And he's like, I don't know, I got stuck here. It just happened. I'm like, that is not inspiring, right? And I talked to somebody else in the exact same profession, and like he was bursting with excitement and like had this vision and had passion and had this idea what he was working towards. And he was passionate, and that was so referable. So it's easy to choose who I want to, build a relationship with. So that passion is referable. And it's more sticky, as they say, right? Another thing that helps us is having a vision and a mission. These are foundational things for our business that everyone should have, is a vision and a mission. And it's not like I have to go, hey, Edna, here's my vision and mission statement, right? Like it's knowing that for yourself, people can see it and feel it and sense it. Like I'm sure you've all met that person. You're like, oh, they are going somewhere and they know where it is, right? It's like, and that forward motion, that movement, that energy is attractive, right? And it helps us align with people. It's like, oh, I want to align with that person because that is, I want some of that energy. I want to go that direction too. So one of the things that, of course, we all have a vision for our success and our monetary success. And so first thing to do is take inventory. Where are we, right? So what's the revenue we achieved last year? and how much of that was by referral. So if we're tracking where is our business coming from? And then what's our revenue goal for this year overall, and then by referral. So you might be getting some business from other places, or maybe 100% of your business is from referral, or, maybe we need to look and track and see where business is coming from. And then what's the difference? Okay. So who here wants to make less than they did last year? Anyone? No. Okay. All right. So we have this nut to solve for. So who here wants to work harder? I'm going to work harder to get that. Not so much. Oh, Nathaniel's willing to work harder. Okay, that's good. I see a little nod. So what if we could work smarter instead and have more time leverage and enjoy the way we do it? That's what we're working for. So now here's a tip. When you are building your referral relationships, you want to share your goals. And sometimes it's good to share monetary or a number of some kind, so we have a target. And when we share that, we also want to share what that's going to do, right? So what is that going to do for us and our lives and our business and our clients? How does it affect us, right? So for example, one of my referral partners, one year, this was a number of years ago, she said, I want to get this goal. And when I hit this goal, I'm going to be able to take my granddaughters to Disney Paris. Now, I personally grew up without any grandmothers in my life. And my friend, she's a young grandma, which is awesome. And so she had kids young, and she's got young, her kids had kids young. So she's got all that energy and spunk. And that's so exciting. And so like, I was motivated to help her, but I was even more motivated to help her granddaughters who I had never met. So they would have that experience with their grandmother, right? Like that I never had. So that was super motivating. And I referred her, and she got other business, and she did take her granddaughters on that trip. I was almost as excited as they were, right? So we can bring each other along and see how, like, I was extra motivated to help her because I knew what that was going to do. And sometimes it's like, oh, I want to buy this new piece of equipment. I can get more services and all of that, whatever that is. But there's always something that helps our lives. Like one of my clients, he brought a couple of guys with him to this workshop so they could have more discussions about how they're going to refer each other and all of that. And one of the gentlemen said, one of the things he wants to do to reasons why he wanted to increase his business significantly is his wife was in a highly stressful career. She was a pharmacist, which apparently is one of the highest stressful careers. And she actually had kind of a breakdown and had to take a pause in her career, and then is okay now and was back. But he wanted to retire her. So that's a hugely compelling reason to increase that business and help that person. So what is that going to do? So we all have that monetary amount. Like, I want to make this much, but I believe it's not about the dollars or the number. It's about what that's going to do in our lives and all of that. And I think that's important to share with our referral team. So I'm going to just stop the share for real quick so we can see each other again. And if anyone wants to share, what are you working toward? I'd be curious to hear if anyone wants to share, what is motivating you to increase your goals in your business. What would you share with a referral partner?
I would
Maybe it's, so my mom and I just booked an Alaskan cruise. So I definitely want to, and that's on my mom's bucket list. And so I definitely want to, prepay that and buy some extra goodies. That's one of my, so it doesn't have to be just totally, it can
Can
be
you hear
fun.
me, Miley?
Edna, go ahead.
Yeah. So one of my goals is to start a nonprofit. And so that's really motivating me to support young girls in developing countries and be seen to be self-sufficient rather than dependent on a male. That is definitely what's driving me.
Wow. So who here wants to help Edna? Me. All right. Dr. Bonnie.
I am about to be a grandmother for the second time, and my children and my grandchildren live in Philadelphia. I'm in the Bay Area. I need to be able to frequently fly to visit. So this isn't some kind of, nice to be able to. I need to be able to. So I've got to get more students into my programs so that I can live a laptop lifestyle. That's really my goal.
Awesome. All right. Who's on board to help Dr. Bonnie? That's great. Yes. Be by the grandkids. Cool. Does anyone else want to share? Nathaniel?
To think about that. So, my girlfriend and I just bought a house. So we're going through that
Congratulations.
of everything. And yesterday we actually picked up another dog from a rescue here in the Bay Area, DPS, that we're fostering. So just a mix of things there where it's just trying to, make sure we are dotting all our I's and crossing our T's and making sure everything's good for the next year. I mean, I don't have any specific goals, but I mean, to Edna's point, I do work with a lot of nonprofits. I can definitely put you in contact with some of the executive directors, especially in that space, to at least have a conversation and kind of see what it would look like to get that up and running.
Thank you.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great nonprofits. The Bay Area is rich with nonprofits. So here's a bonus tip. This is something that I have my clients, basically have a mantra. My clients know this, and it's book a meeting from a meeting. Book a meeting from a meeting. So Nathaniel just opened the doors to that opportunity to book a meeting from a meeting. So Nathaniel and Edna, I encourage you to follow up with each other, and anyone on here. If you want to put your information in the chat so everyone can connect, if there's anyone that you want to connect with, I would highly recommend, reaching out to them and seeing if you could connect, right? So one of the things that we want to do is move our relationships from online to offline, right? And really get into that personal connection, personal and professional, right? Having that I think the best business relationships are crossover of both. And when we have a one-to-one conversation, I mean, it still can be on Zoom and all of that. We're building more of a relationship. And it's important to have one-to-one conversations. So we'll talk about that more. Carly or Yvonne, anything from you?
I would say my goal, the current goal right now is, so my business partner, he still works. So it would be to build the business so that way he can quit his job and work for our business full time.
Ah, okay, good. Get him in full time. That's awesome. Carly, how about you?
So my goal, well, similar to Edna, I have two young daughters, and I have been a stay-at-home mom for the most part for a long time. And I just want to show them, that you can be a mom, you can work, you can be self-sufficient, and there's a lot of freedom in that and self-confidence in that. And also, we love to travel. That is really what our favorite thing. So to do more of that.
Awesome. Yeah, being a great example to your daughters. That's big. Awesome. Good. Okay. So I am going to see if I can get back on the PowerPoint and we'll continue on. The only thing about this view is it doesn't let me pop back where I was. So sorry for all that. Okay. So clarity of message. So part of that, having that clear message is understanding and knowing your target market. One of the biggest mistakes I see business owners make is they're like, I can help anyone, because they don't want to cut off any opportunity. And so it's instinctual. We all do it. We're like, well, I can help anyone, right? Because we don't want to cut anyone off. But the way that marketing and works, whether it's word of mouth or on Google or whatever it is the more specific you are, the better results you will get. Okay. So we want to be focused on a target market that we can describe that up, that our network and our referral team, when we share what that is, they can think of a name, because when they can think of a name, then they can make a referral. Okay. So we want to be able to describe that client with enough detail where people can understand what that is and think of a name. This is one of my clients. Actually, when I first met Julia, we met in person and she talked so softly. I basically had to put my ear to her lips to hear her. And after working with me for a short period of time, and she worked with me for over a year, but just, it was so, her growth was so rapid. She really had an incredibly powerful, emotionally charged connection. And I got to see her share that emotionally charged connection. I also call it an ECC for short, her ECC, in a room of nearly 100 business owners. She did use a microphone, but she delivered that. And I swear there wasn't a dry eye in the audience, and her business skyrocketed and her confidence skyrocketed incredibly. And so what I love about this process is, even us shy, introverted people, it's a learnable skill, and it builds so much confidence when we do this process. This is a testimonial from one of my clients, Jim, who has a design build firm here in Walnut Creek. And so he signed up his design team. He wanted them to do more of the sales, and he wanted to reduce his time and go to semi-retirement. But once we worked on his emotionally charged connection, his passion was so ignited. He went out there and just like tore it up and sold even more. We did get his other designers to do more sales as well. So they hit their 6 months goal before the end of the first quarter, which was awesome. So the second thing is our referral team. So we talked about clarity of message. The second piece is our referral team. We want to find people who have influence with our target market. We want them to have enough connections and have the relationship to be able to influence them to act and take their recommendation, right? So I went to UCLA, so I got to throw in a John Wooden quote. The main ingredient of stardom is the rest of the team. Okay. So this is an image of our referral network. This is kind of an overview, and people always say a sphere of influence. Well, this is even more of it's a more detailed sphere, if you will. So in our referral network, there's like all these people who could potentially refer us. So anyone who can refer us, I call it a referral source, right? So a referral source would be a generic term for anyone who could refer us. And then what we want to do is we want to identify who we want to bring into the inner circle to create that powerful referral team. So there's layers, this contact sphere, then a power team relationship, and then the inner circle is that referral partner. So that's kind of like, I'm always working on bringing my clients to that inner circle. My clients, helping them bring people to the inner circle. So one of the first things that we want to do is we want to identify businesses and professions that are in our contact sphere, what I call contact sphere. So those are those business and professions that are complementary to ours. So those people are having a similar conversation with a similar clientele. So it's very relevant to refer back and forth. Okay. So in the real estate industry, it's easily, you've got the realtor, you've got the mortgage, you've got the estate attorney, the financial advisor, the PNC insurance, all of those people, and life insurance. Definitely, if you're buying a house in California, you need life insurance, right? All of those people, those are part of that contact sphere. So one of the things I do with my certified networker clients is I challenge them. I help them, but I make them, is to actually write a list of 20 or more professions that could be complementary, and their contact sphere could be potential referral relationships. Okay. So I would invite you to take that challenge on yourself to see if you can figure out who those other professions would be. Now I have a number of clients who are financial services, and we ask someone in financial services, those financial planners, they always you're like, who's a great, profession for you to know? They always say CPA, right? That's the first thing out of their mouth, immediately, CPA. And then you ask them again, well, who else are you looking to meet? Well, really, I'm looking for CPAs, right? And then you ask them a third time, you're like, well, who else? No, I really need to find some CPAs. So there's no reason why they're always on the hunt for them. Anyways, I don't have time to go into all that, but the idea is to get out of our typical, we don't need to we have to get out of our box a little bit. We don't need to have 20 different or 20 or more different people on our referral team, but it helps us expand our awareness of opportunity. Okay. And maybe think of people that maybe you wouldn't. And when you come across them, you can explore that opportunity. You'll identify that opportunity quicker so you can take action on it. And sometimes it's not someone we thought of right away that becomes our best referral partner. Okay. So expand our current thinking and think about what those professions are. Who is talking to your ideal client on a regular basis, having a similar conversation? Okay. Where it's relevant, where it's easy to refer. So sometimes you think, oh, well, if I'm a financial planner, right, and I really think, people in a certain neighborhood, they're typically going to be good, qualified people if they live in this neighborhood. Well, maybe I can talk to the landscaper who also works that neighborhood, and maybe we can refer each other. It's a little bit of a stretch in a conversation, right? It's like, well, now that I've, pruned your roses, how about hedge funds, right? I don't know. That's the best connection I can find, right? But it's a little bit more of an awkward conversation. Maybe the landscaper and the contractor might be a better pairing there. And the financial advisor maybe can find the realtor who's working that neighborhood. That would be a closer conversation. So just some things to think about. But just keep thinking of those opportunities and what are the other people talking and advising your clients. So we want to work smarter. So we want to be able to, so when we're networking, so now when we're networking, we're looking for referral source. This is the real magic of networking and building referral relationships and building great business relationships. When we're networking, we're not looking for clients, we're looking for referral sources. Okay. So it's exponential. Okay. If we go to a networking event and there's 8 people in the room, we're like, oh, only 8 opportunities, right? But it's not. So the average person has a sphere of influence, they say, of 250 people. Well, who here has more LinkedIn connections than that, right? I mean, hopefully everybody, and maybe Facebook connections, right? So it's exponential. It's not 8 if it's a room of 8. It's 8 times 250, Okay. So, so we're looking for those referral relationships. Who can we pair up with where we can be connecting? When we're building those referral relationships, we go through what I call the VCP process. VCP stands for visibility, credibility, and profitability. So the first phase, these are phases of a referral relationship. So the first phase is visibility. Do I know your name and what you do? And can I recognize you when I see you? Okay. So that would be visibility. And because it's a relationship, it's both ways. So I might be saying, hi, Edna, how are you? And she's like, oh, who's that blonde chick again? Right? Like, so if she doesn't remember me, we're not even in visibility, right? So I need to get there. And one of the things that I believe, like, if you are in a networking group and you go to that networking group on a regular basis, whether it's monthly or weekly or whatever that is, I think we get a false sense of security about how well people know us and know who we are. Okay. So I would double check those relationships and see, am I in visibility? Do they know my name? Right now, my name is a little bit more challenging than some. So there's that, right? If I get them to get my first name, that's a big hurdle. And then they get the second name, it's like, woo, right? Like, it's like, so some of us have a little bit tougher challenge with that. So there's things that we could do. Like when we get to say our name, we want to say our name first and last. Okay. Cause it's like, I was at a networking event and, at a Pleasant Hill chamber, and I was like, oh, it seemed like everyone was talking to this one guy and I was new there. And I'm like, oh, who's that guy? And they're like, oh, he's been in the chamber for eons, like decades and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, what does he do? They're like, I think insurance. I'm not sure. Like, what's his name? Bill. I'm like, what's his last name? They're like, he's been networking there for decades and they don't even know his name and what he does. This is a problem. Okay. So we need to check. Where are we in that relationship? The second phase is credibility. That's where trust has been established and expertise has been shown. I believe you're referable. You believe I'm referable. Now, trust in that takes time. And have you ever known someone for a long time and you'd never refer them? Right? So just because time has elapsed doesn't mean we're in credibility. We need to check and make sure we are in credibility with other people, and all of that. And then the final phase is profitability. Now, very, very few people will get into profitability. Most of your referral relationships are going to be in credibility. Okay. Profitability is when we have such an incredible long-term relationship where we are proactively referring each other. It's reciprocal and it's consistent, right? So that's a profitable referral relationship. It doesn't mean that you're profitable because they referred you one client and you got a profit. It's because you're profitably referring each other consistently, right? So that's that. So we want to see where we are. And that also helps us define what kind of conversation, what kind of referral conversations we want to have with the different people, depending on what phase. So there's certain philosophies I like to use, giver's gain, and which really is the law of reciprocity. When we give, we will receive. And and a great referral strategy relies on giving. And when we give and we help other people, it activates the law of reciprocity because people will instinctually want to return in kind. Okay. So we work on giver's gain or the law of reciprocity, the platinum rule. So most people have heard of the golden rule. The platinum rule is treat people the way they want to be treated. And it's based on behavioral styles. So one of the programs I do includes DISC, if you've heard of DISC, behavioral styles, but it's really about understanding the different styles so we can have better communication, so we can understand where they're coming from and help with their needs, help with what they need to receive or to in communication, or alleviate their fears, their motivations, all those things. And then it's all my fault. Now that might seem like a funny philosophy, but here, let me explain it. So in referral marketing, referrals come from other people. So it's super easy to play the blame game. So-and-so could be referring me more and they're not. So if they would just refer me, like if they would just get off their duff, then I would have more business, right? Well, what I know is that there are things that I can do to earn those referrals and to proactively generate referrals. And there's things that I can do to get to activate that referral relationship or find a better one. Okay. So a nicer way to say it's all my fault is it's all my responsibility. And if you're like me, I'd rather be in control than to put control in somebody else's hands. So, all right. So I do have Roomful of Referrals coming up next month. It's in person at the Pleasant Hill Community Center. This is my half-day workshop on DISC behavioral styles, what I was just talking about. It is super fun. It's interactive. Everyone takes a DISC assessment, so everyone knows what their profile is. And then I move the room so people are sitting with their dominant style. And then I explain a bunch of different things and we do different exercises, but we learn from each other because you've got a group of go-getters sitting together and you see how they react and what words they use. And you're like, oh my gosh. So it's super fun and entertaining, as well as super like you learn so much.
At what time is that, Miley?
It's 8:30 to 12:30. So it's a full half day. Yeah. So with our referral team, one of the ways that we build that relationship, remember I said we want to get to one-to-one. So book a meeting from a meeting and get that one-to-one conversation so we can build the relationship. One of the things that we can use to help us build that relationship is the GAINS profile, which stands for, it's just an acronym. It stands for goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. I don't have total time to go into that, but there's such great information to help build a referral relationship in that information. And then the most important question we want to ask is, how can I help you? Okay. So, and there's a lot more to that as well. So we want to ask at the level of the relationship. So if we just met the person, we're not going to be like, hand over your biggest client to me, right? Too big of an ask, but it might be, hey, I'm building my YouTube channel. Will you subscribe to my YouTube? That's probably easier ask. Okay. So ask at the level of relationship. There's a lot more we can go into that, but I want to get to some other stuff. All right. Testimonials. All right. So we want the third step, activate our network. Okay. So we want to build those key referral relationships, and then we need to get them to do we want them to do for us and refer us. So again, here's another picture of the magic, okay, of referral marketing. Has anyone here done any cold calling or door knocking? Anyone besides me? Oh, look at this. All right, I love it. So when we go and direct prospect and we door knock and we go direct and we say, hey, you want to buy my stuff? What is our success rate there? How long does it take to actually get a bona fide appointment? Have you done any stats on that, Nathaniel?
Right now, mine with the industries I'm going after, it's less than 2% of prospects. And so of the 60 to 100 impressions I make in a week, I'll maybe get one or two people interested at that point for an appointment. So, but I've had all my business so far has been referral based in comparison. I mean, those are pretty much, that close rate is closer to like 85, 90%. So it's leaning on that side a lot more than it is the the cold
Yeah.
calling, especially because one, I mean, you guys probably know this. No one really wants to talk about insurance. So no one, when someone calls you and they say, "Hey, how's your insurance?" Like, and they're like, "I don't care. Get off my phone." So it's if it comes from a place where I'm working with a venture capitalist or someone, and they're like, "Hey, you should talk to this person. Like, talk about your risk management program. Talk about what your goals are as you go through different stages with FDA approval and whatnot." So, yeah, it's definitely a different conversation when you structure it that way.
Absolutely. Yep. I love that you have those stats. It's pretty dismal. So a number of years ago, Baylor University did a study, and they found that on average, it took 8 to 10 hours of prospecting to get one appointment. And then from there, it's a typical conversion depends on the skill of the person sometimes as well. But the general stat from that was 1 in 20. So you go 8 hours, 8 to 10 hours. It's an imperfect study because guess what? Some people gave up before they actually got that first appointment. So, but so 8 to 10 hours, and then 1 out of 20. So it's a lot of prospecting. And I think the numbers are getting more and more dismal. And the same is true when we're doing, you're doing any kind of like lead generating online, the numbers are obnoxious, right? And those people are, I mean, how exciting is it to talk to a cold prospect or cold lead? Yeah. So here's the better way. Okay. So with those referral sources, and hopefully you're starting to think about, okay, who could I build a strategic referral relationship with? Okay. Based on our, the last chunk we were talking about. So who are those referral sources? So they already have in their database, in their clientele, in their prospect pool, clients that could be our prospects as well. Okay. So instead of going direct to the prospects, now we're going to go to our referral sources and say, hey, who can you connect me with? Okay. And then get them to refer those people over to us. Now, does it take time and effort to build those referral relationships? Yeah. But here's the thing. Any time that I've spent prospecting, door knocking, cold calling was time I spent that never really benefited me again, except for maybe improving my scripts, right? But it's really not beneficial. But when I invest time in my referral source relationships, it pays dividends, because guess what? The more that they refer me, the better they get at it, and the easier it becomes, and then the more frequent it becomes. So it has this rolling thing. I think that it's akin to compound interest. Sometimes when you start, it's a little bit slow on that curve, and then all of a sudden it just goes whoo, right? Because they hit that point. So that's one of the other things to think about too, is how much time have I invested, and think about that time as those pennies invested that are going to pay exponential dividends. Okay, so we need to get to this. This is the 5 steps to the referral process. And I actually do this in part of my speaking as a presentation that's just around this 5 steps. We're going to cover it in like 10 minutes. Yay. Okay. So there are 5 steps to the referral process. So in any referral, there's always 3 people. You've got the referral giver, the referral receiver, and the prospect. Okay. So there's always 3 people. If we look at these 5 steps, what I love about it, when it's done well, it's a win for all 3 people. Okay. So if we're gonna start with the giving position, right? So because law of reciprocity, we want to give first. So if we want to give a referral, and we're going to attach our name and reputation with that person, we're going to say, I recommend this person, and our name and reputation is on the line because we spoke for them. What is that essential element that we need to have with that referral partner? What do we need to feel and have in that relationship? What do you think? What do you think that first element is?
Know, like, and trust.
Edna, you want to give it a stab? No?
The know, like, and trust factor.
Say it again.
The know, like, and trust factor.
Yes, the trust. So specifically, I focus on trust. It is the know, like, and trust factor, but it's trust. So we need to have that. We have to have a level of trust, right? And so one of the things that we can think about is, how am I building trust with these people? And one of the things to think about is, how does someone earn your trust, right? How does someone earn your trust? And am I doing the things that will earn other people's trust? So what are some basic things that builds trust for you?
Honesty.
Say it again, Edna.
Honesty. Being honest.
Being
transparent.
honest.
Yeah, it have integrity.
Yes. Oh, integrity, big one. Yvonne?
Follow through.
Consistency.
Consistency. I love it. And Dr. Bonnie, you said follow through. Yeah. So those are things. Now, are those all easy things that are done? Right? We have to be intentional and conscious about these things. All right. So the first element is trust. So we want to earn the trust from our referral sources, from our referral partners. The second step is business knowledge. Now you can see the steps are a little bit different sizes, right? And that's because some are easier to do and others are a little bit more more involved, right? Or a little bit tougher to do. So earning trust is a big thing. Once you have trust, you keep it forever. You have to maintain it, right? So we have to maintain it. So it's an ongoing process. So that's a pretty big step. Second step is business knowledge. Business knowledge is a much easier step, and there's still a lot to learn. So there's a lot in that little step, but it's easier because we easily have business conversations. We can go to a business mixer, meet each other for the first time and be like, so what do you do? And how long have you been doing that? And what's your ideal client, your target market, right? What areas do you serve, right? We can ask those questions easily. Now, as we've developed a referral relationship, we're going to want to know more specifics and all of that. But the key thing here is, do I know when I'm standing in the middle of a referral for you, right? What do people say, right? What do I listen for? How do I start a conversation on your behalf if I'm going to go proactive at it, right? So does your referral team know and even recognize if they're standing in the middle of a referral for you? How do you identify that referral? So this is where we're actually training our referral team on referring us. So my certified networkers and referrals for life clients, we create like a referral partner training manual. And there's a lot that we can put in it, but we don't like put together a big fat binder and go, here, Dr. Bonnie, learn all this about me, right? We have to like spoon feed it, right? Here's a little bit, here's a little bit, here's a little bit. And the more experience we have together, that's why networking together can be so great, because I can learn how you talk about your business. You can learn how I talk about my business. And then as we develop our relationship, we can start talking about each other's businesses, which does a few different awesome things. When you speak well of other people, people find you influential. So it actually raises your referability when you actually are talking about somebody else and their business. Okay. And guess what? It's far more believable when someone else says something nice. If I say, I'm awesome, you're like, I'm not sure I believe you. But if Yvonne says, Miley's awesome, all of a sudden it's the truth. Okay. So it's just funny how our brains work. And that's the magic of referral marketing. So we need to, so there's three core pieces that I work on with my clients is the knowledge, which you're working on here today. The second is skill. There's actually skill, like how do we speak about each other, right? And how do I improve my referral giving skills and the different skills, identifying behavioral styles, communicating on a different level, those kinds of things. And then the third piece is strategy, right? So you got knowledge, skill, and strategy, and those all are three things that we're working on continually to develop mastery around our referrals and our referral strategy and our referral marketing plan. Yeah. So that second step can be fairly easy, and it depends on your business and the level of relationship you have. And sometimes we have a false sense of security again. Like when I was a realtor, I was like, I'm a realtor. Like, don't you understand what that means? And it's funny that not everyone actually knows what that is and what a good referral for a realtor is. Okay. So sometimes we have to educate them, and we have to do it in bite-sized chunks and just really spoon feed it. Okay. We think it's obvious to us, but it's not always obvious, because guess what? They're in their head and they're thinking about their business, and they've got their industry lingo and all of that going on for them. So we need to give them the words so they can understand. All right. So second step of the referral process is identifying if we're standing in the middle of a referral by having enough business knowledge. So once we stand in and we're in that referral conversation, we can say, oh, and the thing is I think we come from a really good place and we get super excited and we're like, oh my gosh, you need this. So referrals are easy to find because guess what? People have problems, right? And referrals are solutions to problems. Okay. So referrals are everywhere. So we hear someone, they have an issue, and we're like, oh my gosh, I have someone for you. Oh my gosh. And we push the referral. We're like, you should use this person. I know, and we push, right? So who here loves to be told what they should do? All right. So maybe that's not the best approach. Okay. So now there's two pieces. We want to not just give the referral, but we want to increase the quality of the referrals we give. So that leads us to step 3. So before we get all excited and make the referral, we want to do some investigating. So step 3 is need. So we want to qualify the need or assess the need. So we can ask questions. How long have you been dealing with that? Right? Have you talked to any professionals? Do you have a time frame? Do you have a budget? And here's a question for urgency. What happens if you don't get this taken care of? Okay. So we can ask some qualifying questions. And how does that prospect feel when we're asking these questions? Now, let's talk about that relationship between, so if we're giving the referral, we're talking to someone. What do they feel? What do they sense when we ask these questions?
Yeah.
That we care, right? Yeah, that we care. So as they share more about their situation, we now have a better understanding of their situation. So we're showing that we care. We have a better understanding of their situation. So when we do make a recommendation, they're more likely to take us up on it. Okay, so we want to ask those qualifying questions. The fourth step is offering the solution. Okay, so how do people offer you as a solution? Like, oh, Nathaniel, he's great. You'll love him. You won't mind talking about insurance because he's awesome. Okay, that's cool. But what qualifiers can we put on that? How can we make it more enticing? So here's my magic phrase. I don't know if this is for you or not. I don't know if this is for you or not. Okay, remember how we don't like to be told what we should do? This is the opposite. We're giving them choice. Okay. So when we say, I don't know if this is for you or not, they're going to be like, I'll be the judge of that. And then they're open to hearing about it. Okay. So we're giving them an out, we're giving them options, we're giving them control, which people like, and choice. Okay. So now, so maybe that person I'm talking to wants to buy a house, and I can say, I don't know if this is for you or not, but I happen to know a phenomenal realtor. She's not just a realtor, she's also a broker. She's been in the business over 30 years. She's past president of the Women's Council of Realtors. She's absolutely a champion for her clients. And she's well respected in the industry. She's a mentor to new agents, and just really has a passion for what she does and the people she serves. I happen to know that when she was a senior in high school, her and her mom were hit by a drunk driver over here on the Carquinez Bridge. And her mom passed, and she woke up later in the hospital out of a coma in full traction. And the doctors had dire diagnosis. They said, you'll never walk again, never have kids, all of this. Well, she had a different vision for her life and what she wanted to accomplish. She wanted to have a family, be a part of the community, and all of that. So she had to go past all those obstacles, those doctors, naysayers, and all the obstacles of healing, and overcome all those obstacles to be able to run and walk and have a family and all those things. Do you ever think there's an obstacle in a real estate transaction? This is the woman you want by your side. As a matter of fact, I know she just helped a couple buy their dream home, and they had a lot of criteria. And they're in the home, they're super elated, and they said, thank you so much for listening to us and helping us find the perfect home. Now, is that the type of realtor you'd at least want an appointment with? Right? Her name is Ronnie Colmer. She's my mom. All of that is 100% true. She's amazing. Okay. She was my mentor in the business. So how are people talking about you? How are they saying, this is why I refer you over all the other people? How are you sharing about the people you're referring? Are you saying they're great? Or are you saying why you refer them over other people? And what's relevant to that client, right? What's relevant to that person who is in need of that service? Okay. So that's offering a solution. The final step is, what if instead of just referrals, we actually got each other appointments? So that fifth step is appointment. So what we want to do is we want to set the expectation for the appointment. Like I said, I work with a lot of financial advisors. Okay. Even if we do a beautiful job setting it up and saying, this is the person and here's why, once they start to think, oh my gosh, I have to talk to a salesperson, they might get some hesitation. Okay. So have you ever given a great referral and then like they never booked the appointment? You're like, what's going on? Okay. So subconsciously or consciously, they might be like, I don't know if I want to talk to a salesperson. Okay. So we want to alleviate their concerns. So we want to set the expectations. So when you meet with Kevin, the first meeting is you're going to get to know each other. You want to tell him where you are, where you want to go. You can ask him any questions. He's going to share about his business and services, but really it's about meeting each other and seeing if you like each other. Right now, if you can bring your paperwork on any of the retirement funds and things like that you already have, any assets and things like that, if you can bring those statements so you can actually look at those, it's going to be helpful, if you do like them, to make the second step easier. So on the second meeting, so after the first meeting, you just get to know each other and you tell them everything that you want to accomplish. Second meeting, he's going to take that information and then he's going to give you like some different options, okay, to help you get to where you're going based on where you are now. And that's why if you can bring more information that first meeting, it'll make that second meeting even more relevant to you. And then after you see the options and if you like any of them, then you'll set up another meeting. And then at that meeting, then you can start to implement and engage him as your financial advisor. Okay, only if he passes the first two musters for you. Okay, so now what I did, now I know Kevin's sales process, so I can easily refer him. Okay, and I can set the expectations so it puts that person's mind at ease and go, okay, I'm not going to be forced to do anything. And this person, and it also shows the service, right? So here's the steps, here's the service. So it makes it easier to say yes to that first appointment. So what does your first appointment look like? How could your referral team better set the expectations and even know what that is? Like when I hand over a referral, what happens? Okay, what are your steps? And how can I better support you and set that up so you have a win, right? So you get that client, right? So we go into that. And here's the thing, when we build those great referral relationships, they might gather some great information, right? When they do the need steps, sometimes just talking about their concerns are going to alleviate some of those objections, or they can give you a heads up. So, here are the steps again. Do they trust you? Can your referral team talk about your business for 2 to 4 minutes? Can you talk about your referral team and know about their business? What are qualifying questions? How do you offer that solution? And how do you set up that appointment? All right. So here's the thing. This is why sales suck, right? Okay, sales statistics. What salespeople do: 48% never follow up, 25% make a second contact and stop, 12% only make 3 contacts, 10% make more. Okay, very few. When does sales happen? Only 2% on the first contact, 3% on the second contact, 5% on the fourth contact. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. That's why it sucks, because we have to follow up. Here's why referrals are so much better. So on the left is the traditional sales process. We're talking to someone who we don't really know. They're cold, right? They weren't referred to us. So the first thing we want to do is we want to build rapport, right? I like cats, you like cats. I like wine, you like wine. Okay, great, yay. Okay. Then, right, we try and build some rapport as quickly as possible. Then we assess the needs. We offer our solution, say, yes, we can help you. And then guess what happens? Objection, objection, objection. Okay. Here's what I believe. People are objecting because they have fears, right? I don't know you. Can I trust you? Am I being taken advantage of? Am I making the right decision? Okay. And if there's no relationship there, it's really hard to overcome that. I mean, they'll say things like, oh, money, time, the typical things, but what they're feeling is fear. Okay. Then now sometimes it's kismet and you have you make a great connection and they buy and they sign up, you make the sale. But most of the time we have to do all of that follow-up because we're building relationship after the sales conversation. So then we get a referral. That's the second triangle, upside down. A referral is built on relationship. So one of the things that we need to do to activate that relationship, excuse me, and get that trust to transfer is we want to bring that relationship into our sales conversation. Remind them how they got there, because sometimes we forget. Okay. So Dr. Bonnie referred you. How do you know Dr. Bonnie? and they're like, oh my gosh, she's amazing, blah, blah, blah. So like, okay, Dr. Bonnie would never put me in front of this woman if it wasn't right for me. Right. And I trust her, and that's how we get the trust to transfer. Okay. Then we can continue on with our conversation, assess the needs, offer the solution. They may have some stalls or objections, but sometimes if our referral source did a great job on the referral conversation, most of those are alleviated or we're given a heads up so we can handle them easily, and then we let them buy. Right. And it's just a much smoother process. And that's why we can close so many more sales when they come from a referral. All right. So we all know referrals close more, blah, blah, blah. There's things that we could do to activate our network. Remember, I talked about phrases to listen for, conversation starter. These are a list of some of the things that we do in Certified Networker to spoon feed the information, right? To spoon feed, like, here's how you can refer me. And blah, blah, blah. I know we're close on time. So we want to, of course, build our skill, continue growth, and get our network working. And again, I have a room full of referrals coming up. I also do a 3-day retreat in person here in Walnut Creek. And we go through all the steps to create a comprehensive referral marketing strategy. We go over vision and mission. We really work on, the big thing we do is work on that emotionally charged connection and that great emotional message. And of course, we go through all the actually identifying names of referral team people and having that full referral and networking strategy, and creating some action steps and having a distinct plan. When you walk out there, you know who you need to talk to, what to say, and how to develop those relationships in a productive way, all of that. So it's truly transformative, and it's so much fun, and you build amazing relationships. It's small group, so only a few people come. I also have a referral accelerator where we just focus on specific actions that cause referrals to happen. That's an 8-week series. So next steps is, let's have a conversation. I would love to get to know you and your business better and how I would be able to help. Another thing to do is to bring your top referral sources here so you can have better referral conversations. What if they knew those 5 steps? It would be so much easier to pass referrals to each other. And then I do have free tips. If you go to 52referraltips.com, 52referraltips.com, you can sign up and get a video tip in your inbox every week. It's like 3 minutes of something to focus your referral strategy and to help you build those great relationships. And let's definitely stay connected. So I just wanted to finish with all the content and leave a couple minutes for us to wrap up and ask any questions. And I want to ask from you, I know I gave you a lot to think about. If you thought about what's that best word to describe you and your best business characteristic. And I would love to hear what's one thing that you're taking away from today, like an aha and an action item, because I am a coach. I want us to get into action. What are you going to implement? So I'd love to hear an aha, an action item, and your word. So who's ready to go? Nathaniel, I saw you unmute.
My aha moment was, I really like the sentence starter of I don't know if this is for you or not, but going into it that way, I mean, that takes off a lot of that salesiness right away, which I think is huge. And I mean, it could be used in my perspective, not only just for referrals, but also just in general conversations you're structuring. And it could turn into someone you're actually working with as a client, as you're getting this ball rolling. The word for myself, I would say, is persistence. I've been told that a lot. So when I have conversations with people, Like you mentioned, it's the sales come after quite a bit of conversations and everything. It's being persistent, but not being overbearing. At least that's what I hope it is.
Yeah.
And just continuing to add that value. So that persistence aspect of, just keep going back and asking what's going on and having those conversations. And then was there one more piece to that?
An action item, but it sounded like your aha and your action item were similar. Maybe.
Yeah, so that, and then I guess the action item, yeah, that's about it. You got it right. So
Okay. Yeah, Carly.
So I I really like what you said about the meeting from a meeting. That stuck out a lot. A lot of these networking events are like at night and I'm missing out on family time. And sometimes when I leave one of those without a good connection with someone, I feel like, oh, I just, really wasted and took time away from my family for like no reason, right? So I love that. And that is also my action item. I will book a meeting from a meeting. And then also I like to consider myself like more of an educator. The product I sell is not the greatest reputation. There's a lot of misconceptions around it still. So I just like to share the truth about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good.
And I took a lot out of everything. So thank you. This is really, really great.
Awesome. Thank you, Carly. Who would like to go next? All right, Yvonne.
So my aha moment was the same as Nathan's. In fact, because I wrote it down, I was like, oh, I like that. I don't know if this is for you. I love that. And I would say my action item was when you were talking about, really asking what the issue is. So that way you could help refer a solution.
Mhm.
So that would be my action item. And then I would say my word that describes me in business would be reliable. Because in my industry, we have timeframes that we have to stick to, and our clients are, relying on us to stick to those timeframes.
Awesome. Great. Dr. Bonnie?
Yeah, I have a lot of takeaways, actually. I love that you said specifically to look for businesses that are like yours, but not competing, and cozy up to those people to get referral partners back and forth. And I also wrote down, it's my fault if I'm not getting more referrals. I mean, do the people that I talk to regularly, do they really understand what it is that I do? How can I count on them to refer me if they don't really know me and what it is that I offer? So I wrote that down.
Awesome. And what's one word that best describes you?
I can't think of a word. I don't know. I will work on that.
Okay. Okay. All right. How about you, Edna?
So my
And by the way, Dr. Bonnie, you can say one word today and then change it tomorrow if you want. It's your prerogative. We're going to have a placeholder. All right, Edna?
The aha was just getting to know each person that you believe to be a good referral partner, so you can be their advocate. And so getting to know how their sales funnel goes through, so that way you can prepare the person, that the prospect, and have it a greater to have a bigger sense of success. I think that is like, oh my gosh, yes, definitely. My action is to actually think of 2 or 3 referral partners so we can start taking your classes together. So that way I don't have to teach, but we can learn together.
Yes.
And my word is, I just think of myself as an encourager. I like to encourage people to grow. I like to encourage people to learn. I like to encourage. So that whole thing about, I don't know if this is for you, is something that as an encourager, I can definitely use. I always ask permission, but that's a different type of asking for permission. I always, would it be okay if I suggested something? That's my way of opening the door, but I really like yours as well.
Awesome. Yeah, asking permission is another great strategy too. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Awesome. Well, let's all schedule time. We'll book a meeting from a meeting, and I want to schedule time with each of you, so I can send out my my scheduling link, and or if you want to stay and we can just put something on the calendar, I'm okay with that. It is, we're at our time, so you're free to go if you want to stick around. I will answer any questions or just chat or schedule a time with you. I'm going to turn off the recording, so we have that.